friends. Thank you. Hello, my friends. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Good to see y'all. So, tonight we are going to go over the near-death experience of Carol. This occurred at the age of 12. Basically, her and her family were away. They came back home, and it just so happened to be the coldest night on record, apparently. And the house wasn't heated. They couldn't get to a hotel or motel in the area or on the way back. I think they were coming from France or Italy or something like that. I don't remember what was going on there. But anyways, they couldn't get a place to stay. End up getting home, and the house is freezing. Heat's not working. She basically gets hypothermia and has a near-death experience. Now, what's interesting is that, you know, there are some very revealing moments, as you can tell, like by the thumbnail. You know, they implanted a mission. They gave me all the answers. And they implanted a mission when she got back, which is, when you hear what that is, and what she was supposed to do, it's pretty absurd. Anyways, so let's get into this. Hey T, good to see you out there. See you in the stream there. All right, so let's get rocking and rolling here. Oh, by the way, I just want to let you guys know, there's a little bit of a hiss in the background. It's not too bad. It does improve a little later on, but you know, it's couldn't really clean it up too much. It's kind of annoying, but it's low. It's, you know, it is what it is, but it's worth listening. And as always, use your discernment whenever listening to any of these. And this is one of those that, you know, you'll see.
Thank you, John, and thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight. Now, as a near-death experiencer, how many have had the experience, I suspect? Wow. Okay, so you know that we know each other already, but the rest of the room probably doesn't know. What I want to say is, it's great to see you all again. At the end, you'll find out why I'm saying this, but it really is. We really do know each other from another time, another place. And we agreed a long time ago to be here together tonight. So it's no coincidence that we're all here. Now, I'd like to give you a little background about who I am and where I'm coming from. I'm your girl next door. I'm one of 6 children. My dad was in the Air Force. I'm an Air Force brat. I was in for over 20 years with him. And we grew up basically in Brooklyn, New York. So I say coffee. And a little funny accent. But I'm the third of 6. And then there's twins right after me, and then another one who they thought was going to be triplets, but she turned out to be one big baby. World War II, my dad was a pilot and that whole thing. In our family, we're all very close. We still are. My dad's passed. My mom's still around. But in our family, we got to travel a lot. And one of the times my father got stationed somewhere that we could go with him was to France. And it was 1960. We were all stationed. My dad got stationed in France, and I went with him with my siblings. Because there were 8 of us, they couldn't house us on base. And because my dad was base ops officer, we were lucky enough to live off a base in a spectacular French chateau. And I don't know, you can't see it right now, but if you look later, you can see the house. It had 16 feet ceilings. It was huge. It was on 10 acres. It's called the Gentleman's Farm.
The Gentleman's Farm. Look at that monstrosity. It's huge. I mean, Father must have been pretty up there in the Air Force.
It was right off a base. Well, the good news was the house was spectacular. The bad news was that the winter vacation of 1963, when we came home from Italy after driving all night because we couldn't find a place to stop for the evening, it had just been recorded the coldest night in history in France that night. We get home, there was an ice storm before we had gotten home, and there was no electric. The pipes had frozen. My mother thought that, wow, the floors are really clean. No, it was, the floors had ice on them. So we had no electric, and then the person who was supposed to bring the coal for our furnace to heat the house, it was a holiday, never showed. So the house was stone cold. It took my dad 4 days to defrost the house, which had walls that were this thick. We get in at 3 in the morning, and it's really cold. And my dad just goes, "Look, I'm exhausted. Just go to bed," because we're all crying. It's cold. We don't want to. He goes, "Just go to sleep." So I get into a bed that's icy, icy, icy cold, and I'm really skinny little thing, and it is freezing. I don't know if it's colder out or in the bed because now all the covers are freezing. I started to, when we used to go skating and get really cold, you start losing the feeling, it starts tingling, and then you lose feeling. Well, I started getting those feelings, and my fingers are starting to get numb, and my toes are getting numb, and then it's all starting to creep up, and then I get completely numb in my bed. Next thing I know, I am now floating above my body. And I didn't understand what was going on because I'm laying in bed, yet I'm above my body. And I kept getting higher in the room, and then I noticed my sisters and I were sharing a room, so I noticed my sisters are sleeping, or trying to sleep, or they're moving, or whatever. They're in their beds, and I'm getting higher and higher. in the room, and I now am going through the ceiling and through the attic, which is directly above us, and through the wooden rafters. And it was such a strange feeling because I actually felt what it was like to go through wooden rafters. And I still didn't understand what was going on. And then I started raising above the house, and then I'm going up into the atmosphere, and when that cold air hit me, it was really crisp and crackly. I go, what is going on here? And I was trying to figure it out, and then all of a sudden I didn't feel alone, and it wasn't so scary, because at first it was scary, what's happening, and I felt a peace. And as I felt a peace, I didn't see the tunnel. A lot of people talk about a tunnel, but I felt I was going into the atmosphere, out into space, and I wasn't alone. And it was dark because it was night, I guess, but it was dark, it was crisp, and I wasn't alone. And I started feeling really good. As I'm traveling,
I started feeling really good. Reminiscent of the love bomb creeping in. And a pull.
I'm having a life review. I go, this is really weird. It sounds like a movie. It was, but it wasn't. It was, I'm actually reviewing my actual life. It's 12 years. But I remember things from when before I had words. I remember being in my crib as an infant. And I must have been only a day or two old, and watching little dust particles floating around, and feeling without words that I'm loved and I'm part of something really big. And I remember that feeling. It felt so good.
Now I hate to interrupt it here, but dust particles, a lot of times what we perceive to be dust particles really aren't. There is something going on with that. I'll try and post some videos that I have of that, because it's really funny that she mentions that, because if you just walk around your house early in the morning or towards sunset, and you'll see if the sun hits it right, sometimes like huge groups of these things, and they whiz all over the place. And trust me, they're not dust. Maybe in some cases they are, but it's a weird thing that happens here. So I find it interesting, as a child, she's thinking of this, and maybe it's just, coming up subconsciously. I don't know.
I knew I wasn't alone. And then I was reviewing other things that happened in my life, and I was reviewing them from my point of view, my vantage point, but also I was feeling what the other person or animal or whatever it was, how they reacted and felt to my actions, which was really different. So now I'm feeling how it made me feel, but I also understood how it made them feel. And hold that thought for later too, because that's really powerful. That's a good take-home one.
So there's the judgment, like, hey, I also felt how they felt. Very common. We see this all the time.
As I'm doing my life review, I'm noticing pixelated light. It was off in the corner somewhere. It was off way over there. And it was attracting me. So I'm starting to, what is that? What is that? And as I get closer and moved closer and closer to it, it was getting brighter and more animated. Then I noticed out of the light that there was a being, a light being. It wasn't human. It was someone was coming at me. I sensed it was a soul, a spirit. Someone was coming at me. Now, when we have a near-death experience, and we can have, everybody in this room can have had one. When you're trying to explain the near-death experience, each person, each of us would say a totally different thing. We're going to filter it through our life, our experiences, everything that we can imagine and think of. So each one's going to sound different. We have to find a word to describe something that there is no verbiage for. We have to find a way to express something that is impossible to express, because we don't have dimensions, we don't have vibrations, we don't have resonations, we don't have codes that we're picking up in this experience. Our mind doesn't work that way. Our physical body doesn't process that way. Our human experience has nothing for this. So it's sort of like a slot machine where you start pulling the lever and it's processing and processing, and then it'll hit a number and it'll hit something else and it'll hit something else. So when I'm telling you my story, or others are telling you, that's what we're trying to do. Put verbiage to something that's impossible.
I just want to let you guys know that she kind of derails her testimony throughout, so just get used to it. You know, it's a bit tough at times, but it gets better, I promise.
To describe. So really what I'm saying is, please bear with me when I go on with the rest of my story. It's going to be through my filters and how I can filter it and remember it and tell you. So now I'm back in the light, I'm seeing this light, and someone's coming forward. It's my grandfather. And my grandfather is beautiful, and he's happy to see me, and I'm thrilled to see him. And it's great to be there and catch up with each other, and though you don't talk, you understand, there's an exchange of everything you can imagine, and he's so thrilled to be with me, and again, I missed him.
Roll out the grandfather. We got a live one down here.
You can imagine, and he's so thrilled to be with me, and again, I missed him. Well, the strange thing is, my grandfather died 5 years before I was born.
How wild is that, huh? I mean, there's definitely some connection here, some soul group connection going on here. And she probably heard stories about him and stuff like that, but, you know, it's interesting. It's with children who have NDEs, sometimes it could be something like this because they don't have much to go off of yet. At least the Matrix doesn't, or themselves. And so something like this, isn't out of hand whatsoever. It's a very, I wouldn't say a very common thing, but it's common enough.
So how could I miss him? It makes you wonder. Yet I did. And he was telling me things about my mother and the family, and telling me, you inherited my artistic talents, and I love birds. And he said, oh, I loved birds, I loved animals, and it was just an exchange of, and it wasn't that he was saying it, it was, my heart knew it. My heart understood this. And it understands even more, and if I can relax enough and think about it, I'll even remember more things that he said to me, or that he downloaded into me. So now this is my grandfather, and we're just so caught up with it, I didn't notice what was going on. And what was going on was exactly like this. As I was looking around, there were other luminaries, there were other beings, there were other souls. And it was a welcome home party for me. And it wasn't where someone's going.
Okay, so there we go, right? It was a welcome home party for me. See? Customized, ready to go. We've seen how many different examples of people walking into these types of situations where they roll out the welcoming committee. For instance, people who think they walk into a stadium and the whole stadium, all the seats are filled. They're cheering the person on. Yeah, you did great. We're all here for you, blah, blah. Or it's maybe like a smaller group, but, it makes them feel special, feeds the ego very well by design.
Look what she's wearing, or, she always gets the party. It was really a genuine love fest. It was just hearts opening to other hearts, and we're just so happy to see each other again. And I do have to tell you, I'm really happy to see each and every one of you again. And this is what it felt like. You may not be feeling what I'm feeling, but it feels so good. And again, we're exchanging download. Can anyone else have a better word for that? But I understood.
Wait, what did she say? I think I missed that. We're exchanging what? Did you say download?
Download? Can anyone else have a better word for that? But I understood each person.
All right. Did she say download? Just type 1 in the chat if she said download. 2 if she didn't. I think she did. Because if... Hold on.
Download?
Okay. I'm just going to say download because that's what it sounds like to me. All right. So my opinion here is, again, she is receiving information. Receiving from exterior beings this connection. Okay, so you can see how this can run a deception constantly, right? I mean, because it pops up all the time. So what happens? The person feels comfortable, this and that. They feel like they know this group or this individual or whoever it may be, and they are receiving information. That's the thing I always like to put across, and what she brings up later further confirms it. I mean, just to the max. Like the gas pedal is down to the down to the floorboard. So it really is great to continue to see this, because this is not information that is organic to them. It is being received. They are getting it from something exterior to themselves, which is a huge difference than saying, oh, I'm all knowing, or I just, and I mean, how many people say, oh, I just knew it was this one. I just knew it was Jesus. I just knew it was God. I just knew it was grandpa or grandma or mom or dad. On and on and on. We see, I just knew. But when you really start to read and listen between the lines, all we're hearing is them saying, oh, well, I was receiving this information. It was coming to me. In this case, she's saying download it. It's a slam dunk. It really is.
Can anyone else have a better word for that? But I understood each person. I understood their humanness, what they've experienced here. I understood them as a spirit. I understood their essence. We each have unique thumbprints, right? There's supposed to be no two alike. I think that's how our souls are, though we're all part of something. You know, someone said a drop of water in the ocean, and the ocean's the, consciousness, and we're each a drop. But we really are totally unique, and your personality is totally unique to you. And it probably always will be, that essence. When you close your eyes and you know who you are, I believe that's who we really are. So
close your eyes, you get your essence, you know who you really are, and then you just give it away to some other entities that you know nothing about, that have deceived you. I mean, this is what we're dealing with, folks. I'm sorry.
I believe that's who we really are. So I would recognize you blindfolded better than I would with, seeing who you are. Because I recognize your aura, some of your aura, you give off like a vibration, a frequency. That's it, that's unique to you. So like no two snowflakes, no two you are like. And that's the beauty of it, because I can love each one of you for who you are, your specialness, who you are. And it's really a beautiful thing. I mean, it's just, I just look around. I love all you. Getting back to the story. So now is this welcome home party, and it feels so good, and yet I'm expanding.
Feels so good, but yet I'm expanding. Feels good because A, the love bomb, B, the perceived family, and, receiving information, or as she says, download it.
And we're all expanding. Okay, so we're expanding isn't, well, okay. The heart is just growing in happiness and joy and love. Well, next, I notice I'm in now. There's no rooms, and it's not like heaven is paved in gold. If you want it, maybe it is for you, but it wasn't for me. But there's an order to it, even though there's no time. There's no, there's no time. Oh, there's the sound is beautiful. There is sound there, but it's not like we hear sound here. It's this is pixelated. Everything that we see in front of us, you know, you've heard in A Course in Miracles, it's an illusion and everything. The best way I can describe it, this is pixelated. So you have a pixel, a space, a pixel, a space, a pixel, a space in our reality. In between each pixel is the space. In between the space is a lot going on. There's radio frequencies, there's energy, there's codes, there's just so many things that happen in between the space. Now we think that this is real, but it really is maybe not quite as real as on the other side, because the other side, there absolutely are no pixels.
So what makes you so sure that if this isn't real, Carol, then how do you know how much truth or realness, I guess you could say, horrible term, but how real is the place that you were at, Carol? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if we can sit here and all say to ourselves, okay, this isn't real in the terms that, yes, it's an illusion. Who's to say that the illusion doesn't go a step further? What if that's not our organic state? Yeah, we're part way there, but I don't think it's the whole picture. We're being taken for a ride on a massive scale.
There's no space. So the colors that we process there are saturated. They are spectacular. Our minds would probably melt or explode to understand the colors there. Same with sound. And it's different than the sound here. The sound here is filtered. It's filtered because we couldn't understand it. Okay, who's going around? So the sound is really, no, I'm not.
Press the left button until it turns on. List. How many, looks like it's LED.
Oh yeah, they fart around with the mic for a couple minutes. Hold on. I'll just go until...
And you know, there's no... So the sound is very...
There we go.
And you know, there's no time, and I apologize for going back and forth. I'm just trying to put this whole thing straight. Okay, so there's no time, the sound is different, the color is different, you know, everything is different there, and yet it isn't. Doesn't make any sense, but it is. So now I'm moving through a room, which was where I was getting to, but it isn't a room. But it had a sense of, if you had to put it into words, it was a chamber. And in the chamber were these columns, or what do you call it, daises. Dais, you know, in judges' chambers like.
Okay, so columns, what do we see pop up? We see columns pop up from time to time. And she's using the term judges' chambers. Now wait till you see where this goes. So this is all correlating with a hierarchical system of control. I'm bigger than you. I'm better than you. I have power over you, so listen to me.
And there were these luminary beings, and I call them the keepers of knowledge or the keepers of light.
Okay, the keepers of knowledge, keeper of light. But watch what she does with her hand. I don't think she says it an actual number, but watch what she does. She goes...
Daises, you know, in judges' chambers like, and there were these luminary beings, and I call them.
So she does 4. I was thinking maybe 3, because we see 3 pop up a lot, but she did 4 luminary beings.
The knowledge or the keepers of light.
The keepers of light.
Because they were like keepers of light. These entities had all the answers to every question.
Okay, so they had the answers to every question, my friend. Isn't that interesting? Because how many NDEers talk about how, oh, they had the answer to every question. But when we really boil everything down, case after case, constantly, what are we seeing over and over and over again? We're seeing that they are receiving information. They're getting information. They're not all knowing, they're all powerful, but they're not all knowing and that they have the answers to the entire universe, blah, blah. No, there's an intermediary there. And they are being given the answers through that being or beings. So it's not organic to the person. It feels organic because what? Oh, you have the love bomb, you have everything going on to get them to, continue to go along for the illusion and feel that they need to answer or be subservient to some power that is casting an illusion over them.
That you can never have. Now, in my book I write, they gave me all the answers. And lately I've been, no, they didn't give me all the answers. They reminded me that I have all the answers.
Now, don't you like that? I mean, I find that really fascinating. Now, mind you, a person who has an experience, puts it on paper, publishes a book, and now is changing it, but it's not a change that really makes me feel like all warm inside, right? I mean, it's here. Listen.
Right? They gave me all the answers, and
they gave me all the answers, but
and lately I've been no. They didn't give me all the answers. They reminded me that I have all the answers.
That I have all the answers. Yeah, they reminded you. What, if you're not interacting with this in the first place, then you're protecting yourself. We shouldn't even be in these types of situations where it's possible to be manipulated. Ignoring it is silly. We just need to take accountability for ourselves and not be interfered with. I think that's like the biggest part of all of this. And we don't know because we keep doing the same crap over and over again.
And guess what, guys? You have all the answers too. All the answers to how the universe was created. All the answers to who you really are. What your life is going to be. Just all the answers to everything that's ever been. Are there UFOs? Are there other planets? Is there life? Was there Atlantis? Was there Luminaria? What about all the Buddha, Krishna? We have encoded, if you will, we have in our I call it the heart, but it's our souls, our beings. We have all the answers.
Yeah, but we lack the answers while we're here, right? We don't have, again, where do we come from? Who are we? Where do we come from? Why are we here? Where are we going? All the biggest questions that humanity has asked since the dawn of quote unquote time. All right. And we have so very little. And yet when we leave here, we're inundated by things that pretend to be Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad or God or your dog or your parents or your grandparents or who your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, doesn't matter. Okay. All these things come into play where it is like, boom, 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 just pay attention to me. And hey, you got to come to the light with us. You got to go down this tunnel and come to the light with us. We're here for you. We love you. So we don't even get time to adjust and acclimate, which is the biggest disservice in all of this. It's the deck is stacked against us and we deserve better. So yeah, the answers may be all inside of us, but there's a governor over those answers and all those experiences that we've had because of getting involved in this mess.
In I call it the heart, but it's our souls, our beings. We have all the answers to everything. We've just forgotten. And not so much.
Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah. We just forgotten. Come on. I mean, we just got to stop making excuses for this. We just forgot. And then we're going to be pulled along when we leave here. No. It's over. It's done with. We don't want any of that anymore. We want to go our own way, do our own thing, and not be held or not be accountable to anything. We don't have to talk to anything, deal with anything. We're going on our own and saying enough is enough. Sovereignty and liberation. That's the path. And you know what? If in the end it's all bullshit and you feel like you need to come back here or answer to something, go for it. But at least give yourself a shot. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, just give yourself the chance. Can't hurt. If everything is so noble and upstanding and loving and amazing, they can wait. They don't need you to make any rash decisions and do something that you don't necessarily aren't aware of. Come on.
All the answers to everything, we've just forgotten. And not so much forgotten, we've covered them over.
No, yeah, they've covered them over through the mind wipe. Through the mind wipe. It's so, it just makes me sick.
And not so much forgotten, we've covered them over. We've covered them over with belief systems that we were taught since when we were really little.
Taught when we were little, yeah. Early childhood development is a big part of this. I know I'm pausing it a lot, but there's a lot to say here because of all the data points that cross over in this that help prove the Matrix reincarnation soul trap to people who are just new or otherwise on the fence about it. So we just need, there's no more excuses. Just hear what she has to say one more time. I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
And not so much forgotten, we've covered them over.
Yes, cover them over. The veil of forgetfulness. The veils that are placed over us and mess with us, all right? That make us incapable of having the big picture because of those veils. That's huge, absolutely massive. And all we got to do is transcend all that and say, I'm not going to be consenting, complying, or involving myself in any way, shape, or form with this nightmare.
We've covered them over with belief systems that we were taught since when we were really little. This is what you believe in. Now I'm Italian, so I have like a whole issue with that. You have to talk with your hands, and you have to be loud, and then my mother was Catholic, my father was Presbyterian, so I have that whole thing going on. And since I was little, I was told you have to believe this, you have to believe that, and none of it made a whole lot of sense. All I know is each time I had to believe what they wanted me to believe, it was another filter that was put on top of another filter on another. Oh, you're a girl. Girls show up like this in life, you're an American. Americans are this way. So by the time we get to 4 or 5, you've got a lot of filters on you, and you really don't remember. I think little guys remember a lot more than we do. I think their filters are not quite developed yet. They're pretty awesome. So these luminaries gave me, back to luminaries, all the answers to everything.
These luminaries gave me the answers to everything.
We do. I think their filters are not quite developed yet. They're pretty awesome. So these luminaries gave me, back to luminaries, all the answers to everything. And I go, this is great, but there's no way as a human being we could ever understand this, because again, our minds would just explode. There are things that we can't explain because we don't even know it exists, and we can't possibly know it exists because it won't ever make sense to us in our linear world. I did say, I said, maybe make a special note, I said, okay, to self, anything is possible. And I did take that home with me. And I know now, anything is possible. Anything is possible. If you can think it, it's possible. If you can't think it, it's possible. It's probably happening. But it really has helped me in my life. It helps me a lot because I have a very open mind, and it's just amazing. But I did make a note. Anything is possible. Okay. So the luminaries.
Anything is possible as long as it's within the confines of the matrix and you keep falling for the illusion. Sure. Yeah, everything's possible, along with limitations. That's the problem. We keep falling for this crap.
Also, I got to share my life with them, and that was an interesting thing. And then they explained a lot why things happened. And I was supposed to speak with Ellie over at her group, and she had asked me, they interviewed before you do this, make sure you pass the test. So I got invited, which means I passed her test. But she said something really interesting. She said, I have a question for you. what were 3 questions that you had for the luminaries? You said you asked them questions. Now in the book I didn't put down my questions. And I thought about it, and I remembered the 3 questions. And one was, why didn't I not feel real as a child? I was just, Mom, this isn't real. Mom, this isn't real. Mom, this isn't real. I'm just driving her crazy. I said, this isn't real. He's a little kid. She goes, of course this is real. Of course this is real. Now I understand why. Because I was telling you about the pixels. I knew this is not real as a child, which was really interesting. The second one was, when I used to get sick, I loved having really high fevers because I called it the big little. I would look at the ceiling, there were little holes punched in the top, like these things here, and it would confuse me because part of me was expanding out to the universe and beyond, out to space. So that would be looking through a telescope. So if you look at, you can go to infinity and beyond. The other part of me at the exact same time was microscope, with a microscope looking inside and expanding to infinity and beyond. It doesn't make any sense, and it's hard to understand that, but that was what happens when I got really high fevers. I called it big, little. But what was happening internally and externally, I was expanding to infinity and beyond. They said yes to that. I said, what do you mean yes? They go, yes, yes.
Yeah, you're expanding within the confines of the matrix system. Sure, yeah, have all the fun you want. You're expanding, you're doing great. I'm just going to keep sending this information to you, and as long as you're buying it, Carol, from these entities, everything will be A-okay. As long as you keep falling for the illusion. This is what we've all fallen into, and we deserve to get out at the time of natural death through sovereignty and liberation, and walk that path today, tomorrow, with that in mind. That's the driving force through all of this.
Is, that explains the cosmic consciousness, that's how, and it's love, and it was love. It's love.
It's love. Cosmic consciousness is love.
Expanding out and in at the same time, which is really amazing. And the third one, I don't remember, but maybe I'll remember later, maybe not. But it was really cool stuff that they were able to explain this, and I thought, my mom thought, that I was, it was my imagination. It wasn't, it might be. And for my mom, it's my imagination, but it isn't my imagination. And I believe a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Now I've finished up with the Keepers of the Light, with the knowledge, and they gave me all this information. They also told me how how my life plays out. And by the way, I met my son, who's now 27. We agreed when I was over there that he would be my son. We picked out a father for him and everything, and I have met the man. And
so she meets her future son during her NDE. I have seen this before. It's not very common, but it has happened. Some people see full-on image, personality, possibly even the job. Wild stuff.
And everything, and I have met the man, and he has a mission also, and in order for him to complete his mission, I have to be his mother.
In order for him to complete his mission, she has to be his mother. Now we're getting into life script territory. This is a whole nother data point. So I know I'm rewinding it again, but it's important. Hear what she says again.
And everything, and I have met the man, and he has a mission also, and in order for him to complete his mission, I have to be his mother and raised in a certain way, and that has been, so far, we're doing really good on that. And I thought that would be a little, what is that called, fun fact? Okay, moving on. Now there's the luminaries, the Keepers of Light. Next one, I expanded even further. In that expansion, I experienced great luminaries who had come to Earth and other places, who knows where. But so we'll call them Krishna, Buddha, the Dalai Lama, people who came here, who have been here, who are lights unto the world, who came here to remind us who we are, to remind us, why are you hurting each other? We're all one. you know, you're hurting yourself when you hurt everybody else, to remind us about love and remind us, like I said, who we really are. Well, this is important because when I came back and I'd go to Sunday school and they would say, well, Jesus is the only way, and though I love Jesus, I go, no, there's others. I didn't know who they were until I was much older, and I would read about other religions because I was fascinated. I said, this can't be all there is. You know, we're not all condemned if we don't believe exactly as you say, and that just never ever sat with me. It just wasn't right, and I knew it from that experience. So as I got older, and I said, oh yeah, I met him. I know who that is. And that's a great source of upset for my sister, who is a reborn Christian, by the way. I'm not allowed to say this. You know, if you talk to Lucy, don't tell her I told you this part. She gets very upset about that because Jesus really is her only way. Which brings me to the next thing. I expanded even further. And in that expansion, I did have a Christ, I call it the Christ consciousness experience.
A New Age Christ consciousness buzzword. Sure. Roll out the Jesus. Here he comes. Praise the Lord.
The Christ consciousness experience. That probably single-handedly was the most profound part of this whole near-death thing. Because and it's not because I was raised Christian. I know, I mean, people, oh, you were raised Christian, of course, or, you know, that's where your mind would go. It wasn't that way. It was something totally different, where I actually understood Christ as a human being.
Okay. Now, I'm just going to say it's going to get a little crazy. And I do have to take a break. I'm sorry. I know we're almost at an hour. The dog's barking. But this next segment's a little long. So that's why I have to break it up right here. I'm sorry. Otherwise, I just let it go. So what I'm going to do is just rewind it briefly. And I will let the dog out and come back. I'll try to get back here in a little under 5 minutes. So thank you so much for hanging in there. And my apologies for cutting this short. Be right back, my friends. Thanks for joining me tonight. my friends. We are back. Okay, so we are going to get into the latter half of this segment. Again, this is the near-death experience of Carol. And to give a heads up to the Last Timers Club members, levels 2 and above, our monthly members live stream is this Sunday, July 31st, 2022 at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A link will be posted sometime tomorrow in the members tab. If you're interested in joining the Last Timers Club, feel free to check out the description tab if you'd like. All right, so let's continue. Oh, I wanted to give a big thank you to Tom for his very kind super chat, and I will get to that, your statement afterwards. Thank you so much, brother. And let's get into it. Here we go.
Because and it's not because I was raised Christian. I know, people, oh, you were raised Christian, of course, or, that's where your mind would go. It wasn't that way. It was something totally different, where I actually understood Christ as a human being. 2 nights ago, I heard Jeff Olson. Have any of you heard Jeff talk? Can you raise your hand if you heard him talk? Okay, Jeff's pretty phenomenal speaker. And he said something, this is why I love to hear different stories told, because you always get something from each one. Well, this was my take home for Jeff. This was the reason why I even came to California, to hear Jeff say this one sentence. In his experience, in his near death, he woke up in the middle of the night and there was a corridor he was in. He knew he was dreaming, but he wasn't. He was actually experiencing this. And at the end of the corridor was a crib, and in the crib was his son who had just passed. And he said he can't explain it, but he picked up his son, and he felt his breath, and he saw his eyelashes, and he felt his little heartbeat against him. And it was more real, unpixelated, than anything that he's ever felt before or after that moment. And then for him it was, then he felt embraced. He was embracing his son. He felt embraced by Christ. For me, there wasn't a bassinet with a child in it, but I felt, I didn't understand this Christ realization thing. I actually said,
Neither do I.
I don't understand it. The whole experience was, souls and spirits, and you couldn't put it into words. This I could put into words. It was solid. He was rock solid. He was a man. And I really understood everything about Christ.
All right. I'm just warning you now. This is where discernment has to be heavily applied. Just here.
And it was just like Jeff said about his son. It was the most loving, profound moment that I have ever experienced, to be in his presence. And that, to me, it was just the whole thing. Again, when I came back and I would go to Sunday school, and I'd really get thrown out of a lot of classes because they'd say, well, Christ said this, and I go, he didn't say that. He wasn't that way. You don't know him. But in an instant, I knew him. And I don't understand how this works, but I lived when he lived 2,000 years ago. I could tell you what we ate. I could tell you what we wore and where we went. I don't know how. I suspect a lot of you may have, I don't know, I can't talk for you, I can only talk for me, but I do know that was my experience, and that was really, really, really amazing. Right after that, where I didn't want to leave, all of a sudden, like in Star Wars, when they go to, okay, we got to get out of Dodge City, and they push it into, warp speed, and everything gets blurry, and it literally was getting blurry. Everything was like blurring, and the Hubble pictures where you go out. Okay, so I went really, really fast. I imploded, exploded, I don't know. I just became huge, and all of a sudden it came to a stop, and it was just, and it was.
There's the limitations. Oh, you're getting a little too comfortable there, Carol. It's time for the Matrix to step in and say, ho, ho, back up the truck.
silent, and it was every sound ever imaginable. And it was the most phenomenal, that was even that one. Now the Christ one was, this was really amazing, because in this moment was a total God realization. Connected to everything, we are all connected, we are the beginning, we are the end, we are the I am. This was absolutely, positively, everything I am. It was nothing, it was everything. It was sound, it wasn't. It was space, it wasn't. It was just everything. It was, and it is, who we really are. And we're all, and I got it. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, this is where I'm gonna stay forever. I can see this. And you can't understand it if you haven't had the experience. Like, why would you want to stay there? It was amazing. You can't explain it.
It was amazing. You can't explain it, but you're limited. You're limited. You know, I mean, I think it's interesting that Carol was growing and growing, you know, expanding. And then the Major was like, whoa, back up the truck. What are you doing here? You know, we got to step in, you know, don't get too powerful on us now.
As soon as I reached that apex, they said, somebody said, you're going back. I went, what? And then they started sending me back. I wasn't done. They said, you're not done, you're going back. Now you're supposed to have choice. And I don't know, I don't think I had a whole lot of choice with this, because they said, you'll be back, but not now. And I go, how are you even going to find me? Because I don't even know where I am. You know, there's this whole universe. Can you imagine being out in the, you know, out in the space shuttle, and how are you going to find your little body in a bed in France? You know, it's like that big.
Yeah, in a space shuttle. Yeah.
They did it. They sucked me. Whoever they are. I'm still a little angry, even though we're not supposed to have, you know, but I forgive them. But they got me into that little tiny hole, you know, that little tiny thing down there. And the interesting thing, and then when it happened, I go, oh, this is great, now everybody will believe me. And what were they going to believe? There's gravity. And I go, well, they'll know, because when I tell them...
Okay, what there's so many moments in this near-death experience that scream legitimate, but I'm telling you, it does keep getting off the rails, and it begs the question, you know, what exactly was experienced? Was there anything added to it? What, you know, an interesting moment that she talks about there is the hole. She's looking down. I mean, I've seen that in other cases too, where they're looking down and you know, hey, that's back to Earth. I mean, the whole gravity thing is different. That's nothing I don't recall ever hearing, I don't think. But you'll see where else this goes. So just you know, keep the discernment meters on full force.
Thing down there. And the interesting thing, and then when it happened, I go, oh, this is great, now everybody will believe me. And what were they going to believe? There's gravity. And I go, well, they'll know, because when I tell them there was no gravity there, they'll believe me. It's like, right. As soon as I got to a certain plane, gravity actually pulled me in. Now, do you feel the gravity? Not consciously. You have no idea how heavy this is. I'm really proud of all of you, because it's really hard, first of all, breathing with this gravity that's pushing on us. And then...
Okay, now what's interesting is, like, again, like I haven't heard the whole gravity thing, but it's really, really heavy to live out the human experience. Now, we've heard that in other NDEs. We've heard that in pre-birth memories, for when they come down here and they feel really weighted and disconnected and all that. So that's very common. So you can see how there are, most of this NDE lines up with a lot of things. But again, I am, continually saying discernment meter on purpose, especially where we're headed, my friends. I'm sorry for repeating myself.
Really hard, first of all, breathing with this gravity that's pushing on us, and then we can move, and then if you do anything else, it's like a miracle. Well, that's what it was like. It was like gravity. So I'm in bed, now I'm in bed, I'm freezing, I don't know what happened, I just had this profound experience, and now I have this gravity on top of me, and I can't breathe, I can't move, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And eventually I was able to take a breath, much to my surprise. And then I was able to start moving a finger, which I really didn't think I could move a finger. And I did, and then I started moving. And then I got hysterical and started waking up all my sisters and going, "You're not gonna believe this, guess what just happened?" Well, that was really nice. And so I woke up the whole house. It's now it probably was just a few minutes after we had just sort of settled in. And woke up my parents, and my father goes, "Carol, I've been driving all night, I'm really tired, I'm cold. We'll talk about this in the morning." So I stopped talking about it, and in the morning, I woke up, was hysterical again, and just insisted, "You're not gonna believe what just happened. Mom, I met your dad." Well, I had a mission. They implanted a mission in.
Here we go. Here we go. Well, I had a mission. They implanted a mission. She didn't know the mission when she was out there, just like everyone else who claims that they know the mission. Nobody knows the mission. Sometimes there are claims that they do, but by and large, the missions are complete shams. Okay? It's part of the deception that we're dealing with. So her own words. They implanted a mission. But the mission's bad shit. I'm sorry.
About it, and in the morning, I woke up, was hysterical again, and just insisted, "You're not gonna believe what just happened. Mom, I met your dad." Well, I had a mission. They implanted a mission in me when I came back. So now I have this mission, and I said, "I'm supposed to do something. God sent me back. Jesus sent me back because I'm supposed to do something." I go, "What are you supposed to do?" "Well, we're supposed to go back to the Vatican. I'm supposed to see the Pope, and I have a message from God."
Bruh.
Yeah, and so this went over really well. So I kept insisting, we have to go. I'm told
Really?
we have to do this. And I was really serious because they implanted a mission for me.
They implanted a mission for me. She's got to go to the Vatican, bro. Really? And wait till you hear what yeah, exactly. Matrix confirmed. Exactly, Casey, Kelly. Exactly.
To go to the Pope, and I had something to tell him. And I really didn't get that we're not going to do it. No, I didn't understand why I weren't. Well, they made me go see our minister, who I love, Chaplain Evans, who's a sweetheart. He was coming every Sunday for dinner. And I told Chaplain Evans, I said, "Chaplain Evans, you got to help me here. I just had this experience. I died, I went to heaven, and all this stuff." And they sent me back. They said I couldn't stay because I have to go see the Pope. I have to go see the Pope. God wants me to tell him something. What? He was really very understanding and said, "Do you know what insanity is?" He said, "You have lost your mind." And he said, "If you continue to talk, we're going to put you in what they call is an institution."
Boy, that's nice, huh? Make of this what you will, but yeah, hey, if you continue to talk like this, we're going to lock you up and throw away the key.
I didn't know what it was, but I knew it didn't sound good. So I stopped talking about this. And then what I did do is I wrote a letter, and I wrote my mission just so that in case I would forget as I got older. And I sealed the letter to myself in foil, because that's what we had in 1963. And outside, along one of the street walls, I found a loose rock, and I put the foil in the rock, and I said, "Okay, I'll be back, and I don't even have to bother anybody. I'll just come back and get my..." And then I had a little diary, and I wrote down, okay, this is X marks the spot. There's a special, I called it the agenda. That was my agendas in there, and I would come back. And that's the end of the story. I forgot about it. For a while I wanted to be a nun. I said, "Mom, I just don't want to talk to anybody. All I want to do is be with God. I just want to be with God. So maybe you can bring me to place where the nuns are, and I could just be a nun and not talk to anybody, and just pray to God or be with God.
I could see that. I could see that happening, if true.
That wasn't happening. So I forgot about it. And then I got caught up in life, and I knew certain things, but I had sort of forgotten. And then my mother called me when I was in my 20s, I guess, when Betty Eadie wrote her book, Into the Light. I don't know, have any of you read that? And she said, Carol, my book club just read a book, and it was a story just like yours. This woman dies, and she goes into, only hers really happened.
Damn, mom is like dropping bombs on her daughter. What? Listen.
Only hers really happened.
Only hers really happened. I mean, heck, she was 12 years old, woke her family up after having this experience. Only hers was real. Now, I will just say I'm not going to repeat it here, but if you go to the video commentary that I did on Betty Eadie and you sort the comments by new, you're going to have to, I don't know how many comments are there. I had to private the video for a while due to some copyright crap, but if you sort by new, there is an interesting comment by somebody in there who was very kind and generous to Betty. All right. I put forth my suspicions about the involvement of her case, and she's one of the big ones out there. Huge name in the near-death experiencer field. So feel free to check that out if you'd like. I don't know how many months back it is, but just look for her name and at least look for that comment. Hopefully it's still there and the person didn't delete it. I did extend an invitation to speak with the person to get more information about what was alleged, but didn't hear anything back.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. And to this day, my mother, God bless her, she doesn't get it. But it was pretty scary, for her. I'll tell you what my mission was, and I have since written to the Pope a few times, and actually Pope Francis, I think, is the closest Pope. This was for Pope John. I think he's pretty much on task with what I had to say. The mission was, go to the Pope and give him this edict. Tell him to melt down his golden altars and feed his people. So that was my mission at 12 that freaked everybody out.
I mean, really. I have never, ever heard anything like this. Ever. So I find it interesting. I do. And this is something I can see the Matrix playing on a 12-year-old. As insane as it is, okay? So look, again, use your discernment, take it with a grain of salt. We all know here that it's a big clown show and that the church will do no such thing, ever. But, feed the homeless, melt your gold and feed the homeless. No.
So that's
never happen.
That's sort of my story. And what do I have a couple more minutes, John?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, what I'd like to say is that's my story, and that's nice. It's nice to hear the story. But what I'm finding recently is I'm waking up. I wake up between midnight and 3, and I keep feeling my heart, that voice that made me come back is sort of, I don't know if it's a voice, it's a knowing that I'm supposed to do something. And what I've been led to do lately is to remind all of you to allow anyone who cares. I'm not allowed to, I'll show you my little book. This is really funny, actually. This is what I'm not supposed to do. If they don't want a master, why are you bothering them? So I'm not allowed to bother anybody. So if I'm bothering you, you need to leave right now. I'm going to tell you some things that I did get from my near-death experience. And one is, there's 3 things that I'd like to remind you. First of all, that you really all are perfect, and that every single thing that happens. It's not happening. That you experience in your life isn't a coincidence, and it's not an accident. It's a perfect moment that you're supposed to experience. So if you took your life and it was a big puzzle, and every single piece was something that happened to you, whether it's a rear ender or you got...
Here comes the Stockholm Syndrome on steroids. Okay, buckle up.
Was something that happened to you, whether it's a rear ender or you got really sick or somebody died, or the good stuff. You know, you went to Redwood Park and hugged a tree. I don't know. It's just every single thing. And you do have choice. But understand, within the choice, because it's not that easy, as I was telling you, don't understand it, everything is perfect. At the end of your life, you have, and I saw it over there, every single thing that happened to me was not a coincidence, was not an accident, was perfect, and it was supposed to happen. So how does that work for you now? Well, you don't have to worry about anything. All you can do is just show up and watch what's going and take it as an adventure and be fascinated by everything that's happening. Instead of getting pissed off at something, go, whoa, this is part of it? And you go, yeah, that's really part of it. And it makes it really easy when that lady in the grocery store that's, going through her coins and you're in a rush and you're going, oh my God, please hurry up. No. You're supposed to be there. Look around.
No, bullshit. I was at 7-Eleven the other day. All I wanted to do was get a juice. I was running late. And some woman in front of me was standing there for freaking 15 minutes playing lotto. Beyond belief. You ever get stuck behind the lotto bullshit? Oh, my Lord. It is miserable. Absolutely miserable. Luckily I made it where I need to be with 2 minutes to spare, but I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, she's like, I'll have a Powerball, I'll have this one and that one. A number 10 and number 8, number 7. On and on and on. And I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. All I want is I just wanted to throw the $5 bill on the counter and say, get me out of here. Like, please. Yeah. I know I'm rambling, but these are the types of things. Oh, don't get upset when you get stuck behind someone who wants 500 lotto tickets, and there's one clerk. I mean, come on.
That lady in the grocery store that's, going through her coins and you're in a rush and you're going, oh my God, please hurry up. No, you're supposed to be there. Look around. Maybe you're supposed, there's something there for you. And if you weren't in a rush, and I don't know why you're in a rush anyway,
I'm in a rush because I need to get somewhere. Okay? Is that okay with you?
Just enjoy. So it's enjoy every moment. I give you permission. If you want, I can even write you a note.
I'll pass.
Giving you permission to get this one, because it is huge. It's huge. Which brings me to judgment. Okay? The judgment part, which I was saying.
It's all about love. Don't worry, you just judge yourself. Yeah, boy, I wonder if we can predict this one, my friends.
And you don't have to believe this. I don't really care if you believe it or not. This is my truth, and you're going to find out it's a truth someday, whether you want to or not. We are the only judges of everything that we've ever experienced, or that comes into our head.
With the help of the Matrix.
And you get that. Now, when you have your life review, you're going to have to feel that stuff again. So you may want to think a few times before you start doing something. And that's very helpful. That helps me a lot. And sometimes, recently I said something, a little catty about something. I go, I know I'm going to have to look at this again, but I can handle that. It was worth it. It was really fun. It was worth it. So just think about it. Think about if you're gonna have to look at this again. Do you really want it to play out this way? So that's a little helpful, right? A little helpful. Little tidbit there. Oh, this is nice. Remember I said we're, the cosmic consciousness of God, source, I am, whatever it is. We really are all connected. We really are. If we could put on special glasses and see, I think some people describe it as a string that runs through everything, or, but we really are connected. I mean, we're each individual, yes, because we want to be that. It's fun. You have your own personality. But we also are connected. So when you see that girl holding the sign, I have 3 kids, help me please, we know her. You can choose what you want to do, but the most important thing is just to send her a little love note. I love you. You're part of me. We're part of this whole universe. I get it.
I love you. I love getting stuck behind the convenience store counter with someone who needs 100 lotto tickets. I love you. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shed my where I need to be, my ego, my everything for your lotto or your gambling addiction. I swear it was just,
We're all connected. So that's not quite resonating with all you, but you get the idea. And some of the people say better than me, but we are all connected. Okay, but that's more than 3. We are all part of the God consciousness. Okay, each and every moment of our life is perfect. We said that. It will all make sense, yes, when we get our aha moment on the other side. There are no moments, no missing. Oh, there's no extra moments. Oh yeah, there's no extra and there's no missing. As Nani would say, but Nani, no extra, no missing. Okay, and finally, how do we live in the moment and understand what's going on? What I've been doing for the last 3 months, and it's really helpful, is I've been dividing things up. Okay, it's either in my mind's heart or in my heart, my human mind, that's it. Or it's in my heart mind, because the heart does have a mind. And if I'm feeling, and I know if it's, okay, if my ego's getting in the way, it's up here. I don't really want to be there anymore. I don't want to be there anymore. It used to be fun, but it's not anymore for me. I don't want to be there. If I'm judging, it's up here. Okay, so if you're judging, you're up there. If I'm fearful, it's coming from this. And if I want to control, it's coming from this.
If I want to control, it's coming from here. So withdraw, right? Just give into whatever these powers are and don't take control of yourself. Very interesting that these are the transmissions being received and explained to us, isn't it? Seriously. If this ain't a red flag, I don't know what is. Don't control yourself. Just submit. That's like one of the most cringiest words out there. Just submit. Just give it your all. Just relinquish everything. No. I'm going to control me. And if you want to go along with the crowd in the matrix, go ahead. By all means. That's up to you. But me, I'm not going to be going there. And I don't suggest anybody do that. Take control of your own destiny. You are the king or queen of your own castle, and no one has a right to mess with you or even talk to you, communicate with you, make their presence be known in front of you. None of that.
Alter the yang to the yin or whatever. So the ego would be, if it's coming from here, I'm missing out that we're all connected. That really, I want to be on the same team and cheering for that other person. Don't let my ego get in the way. The judgment here is the forgiveness part. So if I'm forgiving, it's coming from here.
Oh, if you're forgiving. How many times have we talked about on this channel about forgiveness and how crazy things can get when it comes to forgiveness? I mean, some of the biggest horror shows we've gone over on the channel. The one that sticks out is, I think I covered this. I know I've talked about it a lot, but there's the case. I'm not going to wrap too long, but just think about this. Okay. So you have a person who grows up in a family, their first 16, 18 years, and all they're doing is just dying to get out of the house, dying to get away from the parasitic situation that they are involved with. Okay. And they don't deal with whatever their parents or adopted parents or grandmother, grandpa, whoever raised them, the situation that they specifically decided to bail on, and don't talk to that person for 50, 60, 70 years, maybe at tops, maybe longer. I don't know if you've got, you're unfortunately stuck in this matrix for longer than you should. And then on your deathbed or reaching up to your deathbed, all of a sudden they come strolling on in, and you're convinced that, forgiveness and all this other stuff is supposed to just go along. You're supposed to go along for the ride, and that, they are the ones that are here to not only obtain forgiveness because they will say, I did wrong, I did this, I did that, and blah, blah, blah. But then they also say, come with me to the tunnel and to the light. Roll out the welcome wagon. So a person who does not deal with the offending individual for 40, 50, 60, 70 years, all of a sudden on their deathbed, they have to deal with that crap. And they are won over like that. I've seen it time and time again. This is how manipulative this system is, my friends, that something like this can go on. So seriously, question yourself. Like if you're in those situations and you think, everybody's got to forgive, no, you don't. You don't. If you want to, go for it. I'm not saying don't forgive. Okay. If you can find peace within your life and you feel that that's the right thing to do, all the power to you. I am, 100% with you. Okay. But if it involves something where they are going to be the ones trying to tell you to go to the light or this or that, and that, forgiveness needs to be hashed out over some lucid dreams or some OBEs. And, while you're in your final weeks or months or days or hours, no. You stand up for yourself and do what's right for you. Just like you did when you left at 16 or 18. See what I'm saying? That's all. Just stick up for yourself. You don't have to answer to anyone. You are a sovereign being and you have a right to liberate yourself. But don't get mixed up within the matrix, because that's exactly what it wants from us. It wants us to continue to fall for its illusions.
Got it? Okay. No? Yes, a little bit. Okay. If I'm fearful, and you all heard this, you can't be in fear and in love at the same time. Okay, it's really true. If you're in fear, stop and ground yourself and bring in the light and touch base with that love. Because you don't want to let that in you. That's going to be a block. You don't want that block. The whole point is to become more light so we can have more fun. And the control, that's a hard one, because I'm very controlling. Anybody controlling me? Like to control a little bit. Yeah, but the control is to let go. You've heard let go, let God. But it really is true. I'm on autopilot lately. I'm not going to push myself on anybody, and I don't.
I'm on autopilot lately. I'm not on autopilot. I'm on autopilot, just kind of like just going along to get along, but not autopilot in the sense that, hey, Matrix, just take advantage of me. But I know that's not necessarily where she's going with this, but I'm sorry. I just had to say that. Just stand up for you. That's what you deserve.
I'm not going to push myself on anybody, and I'm not going to try to go, if they don't want to know, I'm not going to tell them. I'm on autopilot, and that's really working out nice for me. I've been doing this for about 3 months now, and I'm having the best 3 months of my life, really, and I have a great life.
Good for you.
So that's what I'm offering to
Good to
you.
hear.
Some little bits of tidbits. You take it or leave it. You don't know me from diddly squat, so who's this lady telling us? But I'm just telling you, I really have an amazing life. It's working. It's working because I'm letting go. I'm letting go of all those blocks that I was raised with as a little child, and I'm letting go. That doesn't work, so I don't have to use that. And when I find myself going there, here, I go, do I really want to be up here? Sometimes it's almost worth it to have the human experience, and okay, I know I'm going to have to pay for that later, but I'll go there. But most of the times, it's here. It's here. And this works really, really well. And I think I should probably come up with something really beautiful and profound to end it with, but guess what? Let me see. What am I going to teach you? Okay. I'll read you something that came to me. It's not profound, but it's sort of sweet.
I'll read you something that came to me.
I'll read you something that came to me. It's not profound, but it's sort of sweet. May the voice through which I am speak to you. And may it carry with it all the light, all the frequencies, all the codes, and all the vibrations. Thank you.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you.
All right, so that is the end of the near-death experience commentary. I hope you enjoyed it. I am going to get over to the questions, but before I continue, I just want to again send a reminder out to the Last Timers Club members, levels 2 and 3, levels 2 and higher. On Sunday, this Sunday, July 31st at 4 p.m., we have our monthly members live stream, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with some of you out there if you're able to make it. And if you're interested in joining, feel free to check out the description tab, and Jimmy can even pop up a link if you're interested. And there is a backlog of videos available for all the previous live streams that we've done together. And let's see. So I wanted to give a big thank you to Tom S. Send a super chat. It says, I wonder how long some of us have been here. It takes a pure evil genius mind to orchestrate this reality. I completely agree with that. Completely agree. It is, you know what really impresses me, Tom, too, is just how sophisticated the entire thing is, and how its ugly claws are obviously here, but it's also out in the astral. I mean, and who knows how many realms exist with that. So they don't just deceive us here, but they deceive us in the astral and have this full-fledged system from point A to Z, ready and waiting to go at a moment's notice, no matter what's going on in your life, or if you're on your way here or on your way out, and everything in between. And then you have the programmed life script that happens. I mean, it is really some diabolical shit. And I really think about that too a lot, Tom, like where you said, I wonder how long some of us have been here. I feel like I've been here a while. I do. I really hope that's not the case, but something inside, deep inside me, feels that I have been here a while. A little, doesn't feel comfortable. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah. All right. Let me just check, see what else is going on here. If there's anyone else dropped a question. I think that's actually it for tonight. So yeah. Also, I have 2 YouTube backup channels. I know there have been some new subscribers, so I want to welcome everybody who's just joined the channel recently, maybe in the last few days, weeks, months. Welcome aboard. The biggest thing I can say to anyone that's new or otherwise on the fence about the Soul Trap, please, please, please do your own research. My channel should only be a stepping stone for you, and I love the fact that we can all come in here and talk together, but on the side, when the stream's off, everyone should be doing their own research to prove this to themselves, because the evidence is there. It's overwhelming, it's huge, and easy to see, as long as you don't have cognitive dissonance all up in yourself. So I know it took me some time to wrestle with it and accept it. And even though I went through a time period where I knew it was happening, I knew what was going on, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't. It was the last thing. This is the last thing I would ever want to do, is start up a channel and talk about this. It really is. But the information needs to get out there. And the only way we can do that is by talking with one another, sharing resources with one another, and also getting the information out there. That's the biggest thing. And you know, I want to thank so many of you out there who have taken the time to share not just my channel across the internet, but also Wayne's website, trickedbythelight.com. If you're new, check out Wayne at trickedbythelight.com, and Dan at Overwatch Channel and overwatchproject.com. Definitely check him out. Those are the two people I trust wholeheartedly, who I know are doing research to help further people's knowledge in this wacko reality that we live in. And the best thing we can do is help spread the word. And there is also a playlist of an interview series that I did with Wayne Bush. You can check that out on the home page, or the home tab of the channel. And I also have a Dan from Overwatch playlist too. Feel free to check those out. And also head on over to their websites and channel. Excuse me, on Dan's channel. Wayne doesn't currently have a YouTube channel, but we did go over a huge chunk of his research. If you really need like a crash course in it, check out the Wayne Bush series playlist. Check out the Dan from Overwatch Project, Overwatch Channels playlist. And Dan and I are also going to be meeting again in the very near future to discuss some Robert Monroe and Monroe Institute files, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I do hope to have Wayne on the channel sometime in the near future, hopefully before the end of the year. And if you'd also are interested in donating to the channel, it's always appreciated but never expected. There is also a link to Stripe, a Stripe account that I have, where you can use a major credit card or checking account. And then I also have stream elements as well. So, but again, you know, I understand times are tough. You know, probably 98% of the information, 95% of the information on this channel is completely free, and it will stay that way. Anything that is important in relation to the Soul Trap will always be free and not cost a dime. So I want to make sure that's said. And I look forward to possibly seeing some of you tomorrow. I may do a live stream tomorrow. I'm leaning more towards a no, but I may do one. And then, of course, Sunday is the Last Timers Club members stream. So, all right, my friends, if I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you next week. And take care of yourselves. Much love. And you know what? I'm just going to throw in some music. I'm going to just take a look at the chat, see what you guys are up to, because I haven't gone through the chat in a while. So I'll stick around for a few minutes and just throw on some music for now. Thank you, PK. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you had a good week. Jimmy, thank you for your help tonight, my friend. Always good to see it. Census World says, FC, will you be interviewed on Jeff Mara's podcast? Would be great. Jeff did invite me on his channel last year, and then life got busy and crazy, and I would love to go on. So I do plan on reaching out to him and setting something up. I will be doing some interviews in the near future. I'm trying to set some. Actually, there's like 4 or 5 channels that have invited me already, but I really want to come prepared. I would like to have all my talking points laid out in an outline, which I've worked on a good portion of, but still, like, sometimes you're limited with these shows, like to an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most. So the important thing is being able to get the information to connect with whoever's on the other side listening. So yeah, I'd love to go on Jeff's podcast. So I will reach out to him. Let's see. Ben, good to see you, my friend. It says, gotta hand it to the Matrix for coding this place. Absolutely evil genius. Yep. 100%. I am says, don't feel sorry for anything or anyone. It's called true accountability, liability, and responsibility. A lot of the LYs there. Chain Minds of Sound. Hey. Carly says, so glad I found your channel. I've been researching down the ET rabbit hole for 2 years. The nagging feeling something wasn't right. Why the F weren't the ETs helping if they made us? Yeah, I mean, the whole ET thing is another psyop in and of itself. And it's just more savior programming, right? We're set up in a way to... We want to think that something has our best interests at heart, right, guys? I mean, it's natural, right? I mean, for as crazy and as messed up as things are here, you want to hope that something is on our side. And it's bred into us from a very young age to look outside of ourselves for saviors, and one of those things could be something like the ET rabbit hole. I fell into that for a while years back, so I totally get it. PKOSB says, thank you, FC, and all your commenters. Yes, thank you. I wish it wasn't true. It should be fair, but it's not about growth. It's about food or for other beings. Yeah, sadly true. Boopster says, yeah, the suffering is proof this is a parasitic construct. Just sickening. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse, especially on the scale that we see. It's totally bad shit. Michael says, it feels like a wildfire reserve for us. The sun may even be technology, like an incubator. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I mean, the sun is definitely powerful. It helps us health-wise. So, I mean, you go out into the sun, if you're not feeling well, you can, I'm not a doctor, this isn't medical advice, blah, 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 all that stuff. But it is extremely helpful, the sun. It's one of the things that is to our advantage, so. Ross says, truth is an individual thing. Yep, it is, yep. Let's see. Just lost the chat here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Ban says, oops. Hopefully FC can someday do Matrix Info full-time and make a living off it. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah. Yeah, it would be nice to be able to dedicate a lot more time to it, but gotta be careful these days. You know, it's relying on something like this platform is scary. I've spoke with and seen, as I'm sure many of you have, a laundry list of people who have had their content going full time and in turn lost it all in one day or over the course of a few months. And that's why I figured start the website. I think the website really is at least you can have some sense of control over it. With when you're relying on any of these platforms, you got to be careful. And I would love to work full time on this. I would, and I do spend a lot of time as it is already on it. But if someone else has my quote unquote destiny in its hands, then you got to be careful. It sucks, it really does, but trying to do the best I can to make sure everything runs smoothly. Appreciate you as well, Carly. Thank you. Thank you, Casey Kelly. Hey, Red. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well out there. Hey, Steve Scott. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you. Glad you're enjoying the music. D, hey, says thanks, FC. I'm sorry, take care, FC. Enjoyed your commentary. Good to see you, D. Hope you're doing well out there, sister. Yeah, Jeff's podcast is a good one to go on if the invite still is valid. Okay, I'll go through a couple more, and then I gotta head out. Getting a little tired over here. And just so you guys know, the Last Timers Club includes a invite to the Discord server, so if you'd like to join the Discord server as well for levels 2 and higher, I'll be popping in the voice chat afterwards, along with whoever else is up to it. Let's see. What did I miss here? I just skipped over a bunch. I'm sorry. Have a good weekend, Jimmy. Thank you for your help tonight, brother. Sleep well. Ross says, I'm such a happy lady today. I hope you're all happy too. Doing well. It's Friday. Can't complain, right? The weekend is here. Seeking Truth says astral equal astral. That's a good one. I like that. They troll us and their asses. Out C4 says, great stream, FC. Been a while, so it's good to be back. I like what you've been doing with the new music and look at the stream. Thanks, brother. Good to have you back. Hope you've been well out there. Yeah, I'm going to be changing the whole layout of the stream. I'm going to be doing some different intro videos and stuff. It's just, there's a lot being worked on. It's just taking some time, and I just got this Stream Deck XL thing I bought a few weeks ago, and it's got a huge library of copyright free music that I can play. It's awesome. So let's see, Urantia. Hey brother, How you doing, my friend? He says the Fae, the Greys, the Archons, the Watchers, the Egregores, all the same thing. Just change the costume. So true. So true. Carly says, Mark, correct. We wanted to believe the ETs were here to help. I now think most of them are behind keeping the prison in place. Yeah, I think any entity that is pawning itself off as a savior or even, demonic or what, they're all on the same team. I think we're dealing with a massive AI system, huge system in place that is set up and designed in a way to get us to continue to fall for it. So, yeah. Let's see. Jenny says, called the cops to do a welfare check tonight. Waste of time. I don't feel sore anymore. The fuck? Wah. Sounds like you're a troll here, aren't you? Or not? I don't know. Let's see. Brad says the one in the movie The Matrix is likely a hint to us. Maybe it seems it would take one meaning an entire species to fight back against the control of the Matrix. See, no, I think, Red, that is all designed to get us to believe, not just in ourselves, but again, in an exterior savior. I think it would take, in my opinion, of course, I have no way to prove this or, nothing to stand on, but in my opinion, we would need, we would really need a mass awakening. And if you don't have a mass awakening to motivate people, to get people to see through the veil, then it's really worthless. Because if you have even just, I would suspect if you have any amount of beings buying into the illusion and that it deserves their attention, then they're doing that of their own free will. They're consenting to do so. So I think this realm and all the realms connected to it can always continue to exist as long as there are beings willing to consent to it. Once the consent stops, then I think things could change. So, make of that what you will, but I think it would require a lot. I think we would really need some, hate to say it, but some sort of outside force or some sort of leak in the system, some hack in the system that would be able to break it down and really give it a run for its money. But short of some sort of mass awakening all at once, it's very hard to envision full-scale liberation and the whole system just coming down at once. I hope for it. I really do. Red says, let's see, enjoy your content. FC. Many of these people have fascinating stories to listen to. Yeah, they do. Yeah, there's tons of them out there. Tons and tons and tons. Yeah, Boopster's talking about Jeff Mara's podcast. I highly recommend for your research purposes to check out Jeff's channel. There is a great backlog of NDEs available, as well as other experiencer accounts like OBEs, and he's got some pre-birth memories on there. He's got a great collection of stuff. I highly recommend people use Jeff's channel for their own research. It's can't be beat. Well, I mean, there's a lot of other good ones out there too. I don't want to single out anyone else, but well worth it. Let's see. Boop says it still blows my mind how many people watch Jeff Maher religiously and haven't put two and two together on this and other channels. Yeah. Well, it's the problem is the love and light narrative is so powerful. The experiencer testimonials are ridiculously powerful. So when you have things being confirmed, whether you're religious or not, or if you're falling into the matrix constructs that are ready and waiting, then it's easy to see how people can't figure it out, right? I mean, it took me a while. I'll be honest. It took me a while to fight through all of the cognitive dissonance and say, whoa, something isn't right here. Because when you have someone saying, oh, you know, Jesus, it was all love, everything was love, and you keep hearing everything is love, everything's love, everything's love, you know, you keep hearing that over and over and over again. Well, it's easy to fall into that. Now, if you've had an experience like that, forget about it. It's damn near impossible to get out of that line of thinking. So I get it, but yeah, it's hard to see how people can't pierce the veil, so to say, and see the contradictions that, you know, everyday life has here versus what is being represented in the astral. I mean, that's a huge giveaway. And of course, then you have the veil of forgetfulness and so many other things, but it is what it is, right? I mean, we just gotta hope that in time someone will see it. And I would love to go on the Jeff's podcast, and I will reach out to him. I will, I promise. And it'd be great to share a rational perspective, so that maybe, you know, even if 1% of his audience connected with it, that's all that matters. So, all right, my friends, I gotta wrap things up. I'm getting kind of tired here, but I will be in Discord for probably the next 20-30 minutes. So take care of yourselves, and maybe I will see you tomorrow. And if not, then it will be next weekend for sure. So much love, and don't work too hard. Don't let the matrix get you down. Remember, sovereignty and liberation via your intention is the answer. Can't go wrong with that, right? Or is it fundamentalist thinking? All right, I'm done. Take care of yourselves.